Hey guys, it's Loud Guys. Today we are going to the 77th Infantry Division in World War II by the Fat Electrician. So this is some unsubscribed podcast and this is a clip from it, and it is talking about the 77th Infantry Division. So people have sent us this video and they have told that you have to react to it. Also, this division is very talked about. We have seen that there are a lot of divisions and there were a lot of small units, but why is this division so important and like everybody remembers it? So let's watch this
video.
I went and had breakfast with like this random guy that emailed me recently because he was passing through Mason City, which immediately sketchy. And every time I bring a gun, and every time it's like a 70-year-old man that just wants to say hi to me. It's the most adorable thing on the planet. I'm looking for I walk in immediately, open the door, step left with the wall to my fucking back, scan. Every time it's a 70 to 85-year-old man. Mr. Fat Electrician, sir. And it's like, oh, this is adorable. So I meet this dude. And
Nick's audience base is like you have 80% and 75 and over. It's just old people
it's
watching.
A lot of older people, actually. It's a lot.
I imagine like him just telling his grandkids, I met the man on the talking box on the wall. And they're like, that's really cool. That's really cool, Grandpa. I bet you did.
100%. It happens. So basically this guy he comes, he had books, he had fucking newspaper clippings, and he told me this whole story. His dad.
I think it's time we talk to him about that community we looked at. Right? He's already talking to the TV's talking back.
Oh, this is the sweetest story.
No, but I did. I really met him. I feel spry as a spring chicken.
But no, this dude, he brought a book that he wrote and then a bunch of newspaper articles and sources. He just wanted me to do a video on the unit that his dad fought in World War II.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, tell me about it. I can only do so much. And this dude had all the research done, and it was the 77th Infantry Division in World War II, and it was basically an experiment. It was the first unit in World War II that was comprised of all draftees, and the average age of them was 33. So it was literally an entire division of middle-aged men with families and kids that they sent into World War II as an experiment to see can a 30-year-old still hack it? They were don't quote me on this.
Had the best coffee.
Bro, so listen to this.
Very
they were supposed to be
at life too.
I think D-Day there was 11 divisions that stormed the beach at Normandy. I think there was supposed to be 12. This was the 12th. They nah, we're not sending you there. So they were the first Army division to go over with the fucking Marine Corps in the Pacific. And they were just fucking shit up. And the Marines started calling them the 77th Marine Division because they were so fucking good. And they started calling them, their nickname is the Old Bastards. A bunch of 33-year-old men just fucking not about being here at all.
Yeah, because you got a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, and they're literally grown-ass men with kids going in and fighting this war. And the name came from a 19-year-old Marine that famously said, look at those old bastards go, as they were storming a beach on a Japanese island during an amphibious landing. And so they fought all throughout the Pacific, and then there was one island that was holding out after the Japanese had surrendered with 5,000 Japanese troops on it because that was a huge issue at the time because all the Japanese guys that's propaganda, it's not true. Japan would never surrender. And they're eventually they're okay, fine, we're going to surrender, but we're only going to surrender. They had gotten island hopped and they're we're going to surrender, but we're only going to surrender to the 77th Infantry Division because those guys were kicking our asses so hard that if we are going to lose, we only want to lose to them.
Really?
So they actually send representatives from the 77th Army Division over to accept the surrender from these Japanese officers.
It makes sense. They're a bunch of older guys who fucking hate anime and want to go home and fuck their wives.
Those men definitely use racial slurs.
Dude, they were the dudes.
I mean, it was the greatest generation. They kind of fucking all did.
Dude, seriously?
You ever met some of those guys? They never stopped.
Grandpa's too old for change.
Those were the dudes that were doing if you Google Japanese trophy skulls in the Pacific, that was probably those guys. You ever look that
so
up?
my grandpa had in
Dope
the
as
attic.
fuck. Yeah, what president had to come out and say that
Your grandfather had one?
No, I'm just those other people.
Yeah, whatever president came out and said, guys, you got to stop taking trophy skulls from the Pacific Islands.
Was it Roosevelt, Truman?
It was one of them. Do you ever look that up? Because so many dudes were. Yeah, so many.
They would boil the fucking skulls and then paint them with like their unit icons and shit. Like
There is still some Japanese skulls out there with like Marine Raider insignia they painted on them to send back home to their girlfriends. And it got to a point where the president at the time had to say, guys, you can't do this anymore. This is fucked.
You're giving the mailman PTSD. Knock it off. Jesus.
Yeah,
there's a famous
like,
picture. There's this famous picture of like the girlfriend getting one in the mail.
They used to. Oh my god, that was what they'd send their spouse.
She doesn't look like she
Yeah.
dislikes it.
It's kind of hot.
Dude, Japanese,
Just like
Japanese trophy skulls were a thing.
your guy fucks at war so hard he's sending you back
Look what he
skulls
did to
and-
make it
Wow.
back
Just saying, man.
I love the skull you sent me. It's so white and bleached.
to me. Jesus Christ.
What do you write back to your spouse and send you a fucking skull?
Also,
I want you to put a third baby in me.
random fact about this, I had a whole comment thread on one of my recent videos roasting me about how fucking stupid I am because I said that World War II ended when Japan surrendered. And apparently a significant portion of European countries don't recognize the Pacific Theater like at all. Like it's just not taught in their education system and like World War II ended to them when Germany was defeated.
Oh.
And I was a stupid American capitalist pig for implying that Japan had anything to do with World War II, and I was like, that's really interesting.
Yeah, no
I'm not
shit,
even
you're
mad,
half-
I'm just interested.
You're half the fucking world away from a big fucking problem.
And
You know we had to nuke those bastards twice, right?
They did probably the worst war crimes. That's a lot of people.
No, not
don't realize.
probably, they did.
the worst war crimes. Sorry, stand corrected.
The
worst
raping of Nanking has entered the chat.
Yeah.
Unit, what was it? Unit
731.
731.
Those you just need those two stories to be like, oh yeah, they were the bad guys. And when they're like, yeah, we didn't do that, they tried to cover up that piece of history from their own people. You're like, oh, you guys fucked up.
The George Bush Sr. thing, that, all kinds of shit.
That and the yeah. Well, yeah, that one was fucking.
Those
wild.
big
terrible.
oofs.
Wait,
Well,
which
wait,
one?
we'll all read
George
into.
Bush Sr.
Go on to that story.
I've told it on the podcast once. They got really mad at me because I said he wasn't shot down. Apparently, he was shot down. He escaped. My bad. I was super hammered. I fucked up one little detail of the story.
Like the Gerald Ford?
The first. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
In the comment section, I was like, you guys caused
super
him
drunk.
stress.
What's weird is you said Gerald Ford, but I immediately knew that you meant Eric.
Well, and I had just made a video talking about Gerald Ford, so I had said Gerald Ford 500 times in the last 2 weeks, so it just came out that way. It was Henry Ford, my bad. Anyways, George Bush Sr. was a combat pilot in World War II, and one of his first missions was like at the ass end of the Pacific, and him and his entire squadron got shot down on this Japanese island. He was the only one that escaped. Everybody else that got captured got eaten alive by a cannibal group of Japanese soldiers.
Wait, what?
Soldiers
Yeah.
eaten by
Yeah,
soldiers.
there's like you can go on YouTube. Yeah, everybody else in his squadron got eaten alive, and then like 40 years, not 40 years, whatever. However, later he was president, and he like there's a video of him like passing out and vomiting because somebody's eating something, and he like has an episode where he remembers because he didn't find out about this until he was like already president.
Oh.
And he finds
So
out
if
like,
the
oh, by
Japanese
the
were
way-
just a little hungrier, 9/11 would have been prevented. You know?
fucking Christ.
What?
Our live audience didn't like that one.
Oh my god.
Holy fuck.
You just heard one person like,
Look, let's just say we all
Not a
could
good
have
crowd.
we all could have prevented 9/11.
Brandon's
When
like,
fucking
Brandon
King
just-
Trout has that facial expression of all people on the planet.
Better with a sign, King Trout, just yeah.
you're just like, I'm gonna scratch that one off. That was that one.
No.
That's a deep cut.
Not good for crowd work.
Note to self, butterfly effects don't always go that great.
This 77 division was so badass because they were so crazy. Like they were middle-aged men, and normally you don't expect that agility and that fire from the middle-aged men. They always are very calm and like, you know, you get more matured at that point of time, but also you know a bit more about how to do things. And when you are young, you are always like and doing things, but when you are that mature, you always know what to do and how to do things. And that's what they showed. They were so good at this that they attacked them, and they like were one of the best of the wars, and due to which they were so respected.
Also, when he was saying that story, that they gifted the skull to their wives and to their girlfriends, like this just shows the courage and the power of US Army, I would say, because they have that guts that yeah, like we have defeated them and we won.
And
Proud.
actually, how the story was like, how even the president was like, you cannot do that because that is like against the convention and everything. It is not good to do that. So then they stopped doing that. So how did you guys find it? Do let us know in the comment section below. So do like, share, and
Subscribe.
bye.